everybody.
Hello.
Hello, everyone. Happy Thursday.
It's Thursday. I feel like, does anybody else feel like we just did this like 2 days ago? I know it was a week ago, but I feel like we just did this like 2 days ago.
I know,
It
but
feels
it feels
ago,
like
right?
it was a long time ago, and I missed it. I missed you guys.
It goes too fast. But it's snowing here today, so it feels like it's
What?
Oh my god!
It's April. It's April where you are too, right, Irene?
I mean, it
It's
was
supposed to
a
snow
couple
in
days ago.
Massachusetts too. We're supposed to get a storm. I'm over it. Just in time for us to go to Florida tomorrow.
I know. We
Nice.
have giant flakes coming down. And it's
How long are you there for? We're going for a week. Yeah.
So exciting.
Can't wait.
I'm
Well,
jealous.
everybody in the chat, thanks for joining us. We got Mickey's girls.
Hey, Danielle.
Hey, and Diz Goals. Hi. Thanks for coming in. And of course, Not Bad Parents is here. And Wonderful World of Walter, right, Mark? Our Disney dads.
Yes, the Disney dads, they hang in the chat.
Some of them troll us, unfortunately.
There you go.
Aww.
Okay, ladies. So tonight we are going to talk about obviously planning some more. And I think last week, I keep saying last week, but it was what, 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
We were saying that like maybe we should talk about what you do in terms of getting like an itinerary together, like whenever you're going to go to Disney. And like what is the first thing that you do whenever you're going to get ready to plan for a trip? Now, some of us plan, some of us don't. I'm like an obsessive compulsive planner, but I will have a confession after I get all the rest of your opinions about this. So, which way are we going? Which way do you want to go?
It's up to you.
Amanda, do you want to go first?
Sure, I'll start because we are the people that like to wing it. We definitely like to, we don't like to over plan. We like to see where the day takes us and like, see how the crowds are going. And like we might plan like one, breakfast dining, like our Magic Kingdom day. Maybe we'll plan a breakfast at Contemporary at the Wave so that we can park at the Contemporary and then walk to the parks from there. Because that's the only, so we don't have to take the TTC. But then otherwise, we don't really plan. I mean, now that fast passes aren't a thing, now that fast passes aren't a thing, you don't really have to worry about that. But when fast passes were a thing, we, of course, plan our 3 fast passes and then try to make them early in the morning so that we could quickly go find some more for the afternoon. Once you use all 3 fast passes, then you're allowed to plan another one right after you finish them. So, we usually like to, of course, try to get those big rides in first. If we are doing, opening to close, we get there early and head straight over to like Haunted Mansion or Big Thunder Mountain to get those out of the way first. But otherwise, we just, walk around and see how the wait times are and go where the wind takes us, wherever the wait times aren't that bad. And that leaves us open to not be disappointed. Our first trip we over-planned and we kind of were go. And then we were exhausted and we were disappointed if we didn't hit something. So I think we've learned to just really just enjoy ourselves and see what we should do based on the park itself, like how it is that day. So we like to wing it and we have fun with it.
So I do have a question about that. So you wing it, which is awesome. But you were just saying like that you pick 3 fast passes early in the morning. Are all of you the ones that do it like the second the park opens? Like I want like my first fast pass 8, 9, and 10. Are all of you like that?
Yeah, I try to be like that.
It depends. It depends. It depends on the park. It depends on the ride. If it's Magic Kingdom, I can get an 8 a.m. Mine Train or Mountain Fast Pass, I'm doing it. Only because I know you can rope drop the park and run to the line and get online. I don't like lines. I do not like lines. I love Disney. I love the parks. I do not like lines. You will hear me complain in every single vlog I do about how much I hate standing on line. And I know people are like, girl, you're in the theme park. Like, what do you think we're going to do? And I'm like, I would rather walk around and eat some food and drink a drink before I stand on a line for too long. So yeah, but if it's like Animal Kingdom and I don't get like a Flight of Passage fast pass at 8 a.m., I'm not making my first fast pass until like 9, and then I'm going to do something at 8. And that's assuming we actually get there. We're not rope drop people, so we're not getting at the park that early anyway. Like, we have done it, like for Rise of the Resistance, back when you actually had to be in the park to get a boarding pass. You know, I did the thing where I woke my family up at 3 a.m. and was like, we have to be online, and got to the park by 4, thinking that we were doing something spectacular, and we were still like number 10,000 online to get into the park. So I like to say we wing it with a plan.
Okay.
And I feel like, Amanda, you wing it with a plan too, because if you have fast passes planned out, that's a plan.
Yeah, but I mean, now with no fast passes, it's like you can't really plan anything.
Yeah. So
you're
like,
dining.
We wing it with a plan. Like, we have fast passes planned when there's fast passes. Now, this last trip, we didn't have fast passes, so that wasn't a thing. So the only thing that we do plan is dining. And since we did most of the dining I wanted to do back in February when we went, because, you know, with my kids, they're not big into the dining. Like, we did California Grill this trip, and I think that's really the only dining that we had. The last trip we did all of the currently available character dines, so we didn't need to do those again. And then beyond that, like, we have more like general plans. Like, our Epcot day for this particular trip, the plan was to eat and drink all of the festival stuff. So that was the plan, and we weren't really focused on rides. So we had like a general plan, but it wasn't like mapped down. We just kind of started in Mexico, and the line from the Mexico pavilion was too long, so we were like, okay, we'll come back to that. And then we just kept going, and as long as we could eat food on the way, we were happy. And we literally did that because I think we got to the park around 11:30, 12, and we did that until like 8 o'clock at night. It was crazy.
So Disco said that I'm like that too. I want all 3 right away so that we can book more. So like Amanda. And then Mickey's girl says, no, I don't pick my fast passes early. The lines are pretty low in the mornings.
That's where I
stand.
stand.
Is that where you fall into, Irene?
Yeah, I mean, I like to book them the first half of the day, but I try and kind of prioritize them more when I know crowds are going to be heavier, so that like at that point in the day when the lines are starting to get long, I can move through them quicker, and then I'll use that like first couple hours of the park when it's open and everybody's going to the big attractions thinking the lines are going to be lower. Then I'll go try and ride, you know, like Buzz Lightyear or things like that just aren't going to have a big line in the morning because they're not the highest attractions, but we're going to want to ride them. And I'm not going to stand in line for a long time for those rides. So I'd rather like knock out some of the ones that are less popular, less likely to, you know, make me crabby if I have to stand in the line for them. I'd rather like do those when I can just walk on, and then know when it's like heat of the day and everybody's crabby and the lines are really long, I can like walk on 3 rides. So sometimes it means we can't get like the best options for additional fast passes, but I don't know. I'm a huge proponent for pounding the app. I've
pound the app.
I've gotten like Slinky Dog at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, or a Seven Dwarfs Mine Train at 6 o'clock at night. Like, I've seen it happen, so I'm just like constantly updating it and seeing what we can get. But I'm definitely like a planner. I think I get like decision fatigue when I'm on vacation, and I just don't want that. Like, I just want to be able to like know what I'm doing, have a plan for the day, go into my vacation and like not have to make any decisions or think about anything. Just know that I have a full day of like entertainment and fun lined up for me. I feel like day-to-day life, there's so many decisions that I have to make and all these things I have to plan and react to. And I just want to be able to like know my vacation is like planned out and I don't have to think about anything, don't have to make any decisions. And we're like, we'll go with the flow. Like, if we have a plan for something, but something better comes up or an opportunity presents itself, I'm like more than willing to like shift and take advantage of that. but I also don't want to have to like be standing there thinking like, well, what should we be doing right now? Or should we go here? Or should we go there? Like, I want to have an option and know I can go here. But if I'm walking by Everest and it's a 5-minute wait, but I've got a fast pass for Flight of Passage, it's got an hour window on it, I can hop on Everest and go do that. I'm not like so tied to like, this is what the itinerary says. So
I will say that if you are going there and say that you're not DVC members, say you're not like a Jean Claire or Irene, and you're not DVC members and like you're not an annual pass holder, which by the way, do you see me in the Jean Claire's fabulous pass holder years? And you know, I was home a Jean Claire and I was looking at them and I was like, it's very odd coloring that they picked them to be. And I was like, oh my gosh, it matches the castle for the 50th. It just occurred to me.
That's awesome.
What it was matching.
We have some new people that joined. I just want to say hi and welcome in. We got Kelly, Kavis,
Kelly, and Jody's here.
Aileen. Thank you for the comment on hair. A new iron.
Nick is here. So some of these people that are joining this chat, today's Mama Mouse Club is sponsored by Upon a Star Travel and Concierge.
Yay.
So we have a sponsor this week for it, which is exciting.
That's super exciting.
And that's obviously, everybody says like, oh, you plan. I'll get like these messages and I'm like, yeah, that's where I work. Like, that's what I do. I probably don't talk about that like maybe as much as I should, but Jody and Kelly who are on here, they are agents too. So
awesome.
They joined in here. Yes. Love going to Disney with you, Irene. Oh,
I miss Kelly. We've had some fun Disney.
I want to go to Disney with you. Music July. Oh man, Finding Nemo musical. That I could go without not coming back. I'm good with that. Chris loves it. I hate it.
Oh,
I just love the big bubble.
Aww.
So let me scroll back up here because
someone was asking about fast passes, how weird it is now, you know, when are they going to come back? When are they going to come back?
We were just talking about them. If you tuned in late, we were talking about like whenever you're starting to like plan your itinerary for like the park, we had said like, how do you start out? We let Amanda go first, and I said she brought up like, I'll plan fast passes to start first thing in the morning. That's what got us on
They're not back yet.
Yes, they're not back yet.
They are not back.
I heard they took down all the signs for fast pass though.
They did.
That's what somebody told me in the park.
I didn't notice that.
They were starting to take down all the signs for fast pass.
Did you guys notice that when you were at the parks?
I actually
use it for the DAS passes.
Pass because they use it for the disability pass.
Right.
I was wondering why they still had fast pass like return time, and then
they're all still all the lines are still there because there was so many people using that. Which that is a topic that we can discuss like on a different one to like bring that up. If you do have someone that has a disability, Disney goes above and beyond to accommodate them and to accommodate the family that is traveling with them so that it's not like, you know, it's easier on you and you don't have to worry so much about it.
Every time I thought I was going to use it on this trip, because if you guys don't know, I hurt my leg on this trip and ended up in the ER. And every time I thought I was going to like go to guest services and get a pass, like my leg decided it was fine. And I was like, and I'm pretty sure
wasn't meant to be.
Gotten a pass, but like in my mind, I'm like, if I can hobble around the park on my own, then I'm not going to go and get a pass. But it is an option.
Yeah. You scared us all when you sent us that.
That was scary.
I scared myself. Like it was like crazy. Like we were actually in Universal, and I had just gone through this whole rant about Hagrid's because we were staying at the Hard Rock in order to get in the park early to have access to the ride because it has a queue similar to Rise of the Resistance, but hotel guests can get in an hour early and just get on a regular kind of standby queue, and they shut the queue down. So I'm like, okay, there's delays on the ride, that's fine, but why would you guys shut the queue down? And then you don't like give the hotel guests like a pass or something to come back and get in queue. So when the park opens and the ride opens again, now we're back at the mercy of fighting along with everybody else to try to get a virtual queue. And I'm standing there, and then this poor young lady who's working there is like looking at me, and I'm like, you know what? I'm really sorry, but this is really not fair that you guys have to stand here and take this crap from like crazy people like me, because your manager should be here. Like, you shouldn't be here. Like, they already know, like, it's early in the morning. People hadn't had their coffee yet. People are crazy. And you guys are absorbing all of this, and it's not fair. They don't pay you enough. Like, I'm really sorry. I'm apologizing. I'm apologizing for everybody else. But you're going to hear it because nobody else is here to hear it.
Right.
And then the queue had and then the virtual queue had opened up, and we snagged the queue for like 8:45. And I was like, okay, like I can let it go now because at least we have a virtual queue. And so the same young lady that I was like ranting to, she was like, well, what time's your queue for? And I said 8:45. And she was like, do you want to ride at 8:45 and now? And I was like, yeah. So I'm like, all like, I'm 10 years old again. Like, woohoo. I just got like ice cream. And I went to go skip, and my leg said, no, chick, you're 42. Sit down.
Is that when you hurt yourself?
That's when I hurt myself.
That's when it happened.
Skipping to my loo because I was so excited that I was literally getting whisked through some like backdoor entrance to Hagrid's.
You got a skipping injury.
And I heard the pop, I heard the pull, and I was like, oh my goodness. But that didn't stop me. I got on Hagrid's, and she let us ride it twice. And I was like, I'm not leaving this park until I ride this ride.
And how was it?
It was so amazing.
Yeah.
I never talk about Disney, but that was amazing. Like,
good.
It was like Flight of Passage.
So is it going to be like what the TRON is like? The TRON coaster, kind of? With the bike?
I've ridden TRON. Oh, well, Heather's been on it, so there you go.
Oh. This is going to be an unpopular opinion.
Oh.
I think that it is hyped up to be more than it is.
Which one?
The TRON coaster. Yeah.
Don't see that.
I know. I'm sorry.
I'm so excited for it.
I literally, like, when we were at Shanghai, we rode TRON, I think, 3 times, and I was like content that like I rode it. But like Pirates in Shanghai, if I could have slept on that ride for like 3 straight days and rode it over and over and over again, that hands down is the best Disney ride ever. In fact, this past trip, we got my mom on Rise of the Resistance because she doesn't like motion simulators. She can't do them. And I was like, listen, I'll tell you when to close your eyes and like when to look down, but you have to take it in because she loves the whole Imagineering thing behind everything. Yeah. And she got off of it and she said to my dad was like, can I ride it? Because, well, he has like vertigo and like he was not doing anything this past trip. And she was like, when you get better, yeah, like you'll be able to ride it. And I was like, so Mom, like, what do you think? And she goes, oh, the Imagineering in it is amazing. And I was like, yeah, it really is. And I was like, is it the best Disney ride? And she was like, no. And she was like, Shanghai, hands down.
Yeah.
And I mean, but nobody can get to it. And now nobody really can get to it. TRON, it didn't do anything for me.
I think TRON is more of like their attempt at bringing kind of more of a thrill coaster.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I think that's really, I mean, what I'm not excited about TRON is that there's not as much of like the storytelling element to it. Like it is more of just a coaster with like some lights, you know, like there's not as much of like the Disney feel to it. Like I am not a thrill ride person. I don't enjoy thrill rides.
Oh,
like,
I am.
Not my thing.
I am.
And, I like them at Disney because of the storytelling. Like I will go on a roller coaster at Disney because it's more about the experience and the storytelling than it is the thrill. And so it like balances out for me. But when it's like just straight up a roller coaster, like I will never ride like Rip Ride Rocket. I will never ride the Hulk. I will never ride the new Velocicoaster. Like won't do any of that.
I'm like counting down the days till Velocicoaster.
I will never do those rides. I will maybe do Hagrid's because I love Harry Potter.
On a Friday night just to go to Universal on Saturday and drive home on Sunday.
Do it. Do it.
That's
I
awesome.
say do it. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, we should actually do a show on like rating the rides. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, I did sneak on when you're in China, when you get on those rides, they don't let you take anything with you. They have like this, I don't know, this contraption that like comes up in front of you and your stuff goes in it and then they wheel it under this thing. And it's like in that space when you get off, like
That's
in like
cool.
the station behind it. So I want to say it's comparable to like how I guess like local parks would do. You know how like you would throw your stuff
Our
in
local park does that.
Yeah, but they like put it in like your row. So then I'm like knocking over Orange Bird. Someone that does that for it, and they don't let you take on anything. And if they see you with something, they're like stop, and they like look at you. And I put my camera like right here in my jacket because we went in December, and then like after we were on it and they checked it, the video. I mean, people have done it, but I'm sure they get permission to do it. I just like pulled it out and like rode with it like this. So I should probably put a ton of stuff up on the channel, but
that would be fun to watch. I would love to see that.
So like, and
Just
it was,
be
I
careful
think
that
it's
they
the
don't
first time that me and Kylie ride it.
Down.
I'm actually surprised that Disney lets you do as much recording and things on rides as they do. Like Universal is very strict about it. Like they don't want you recording on anything.
No, not on anything.
Mhm.
I think it makes sense though, because I don't know if Universal thinks, well, people won't want to ride if they see it. Like I feel like people want to ride even more if they see it.
Correct.
It's so saturated.
I think so.
There's so
Yeah.
many Disney videos that are POVs out there. Yeah, it's not stopping. The crowds are there. Like it's not stopping anything. It's not going to change anything.
I watch a lot of POVs because I get so much like ride anxiety. So I can like ride it first and at least like mentally process what's going to be happening. It's so much easier for me. Like Rise of the Resistance, I like tried really hard not to watch anything, but I was like, I'm gonna have an anxiety attack. I have to watch. I have to know what's gonna happen. And like just the little drop in it like makes.
How was Wally with rides? Does he like the thrill?
He loves it. Like, and I don't know if he like genuinely loves it or if he's just like really good at like masking it. It'll be interesting to see because this trip he's gonna be big enough to ride like everything.
Yeah.
But I like have a lot of anxiety about him going on Tower of Terror because I can't handle that ride, and I'm like, I'll
ride it with him in July.
I would do it last. Honestly, like if I were you and he's never done it, I would do it last. Like the last thing you do before you leave the park, just in case he shuts down. He's not missing out on the rest of his day.
I think you'll be okay, but I think I have more anxiety about it as a mom than he probably will like even react to. But I'm just like so freaked out by it. And when I worked on myself a lot the last like 4 years just to be able to ride roller coasters with him when he was old enough. Like I had to like coach myself like back up to it. And I'm like, you can do this. It'll be fine. Like I took a picture of my watch before I got on Rock and Roller Coaster the last time. And my heart rate was like heart attack level before I got on the ride. I was like this close to it, like sending out a medical alert.
I remember watching one of your YouTube videos whenever you rode Everest, and like the one thing that I picked up on was like your scream, and your scream is genuine.
Now we know why.
I apologize for anyone that rides with me because it's not like I won't be able to go to Disneyland until they lift the screaming ban because I will be kicked out of the state of California. Like if you can't scream on coasters, right now they're like no screaming on coasters and on any rides in Disneyland. They're like reopening for COVID.
Sometimes
They've like banned screaming.
Oh, because of the thing.
Yeah, so I would not be welcome.
We'll have a mask on.
Oh my gosh, it's so crazy. Let's see. We totally got off topic, which I feel like that's what we do, which we probably stick to something. But I mean,
But that's how itineraries work, right?
I know.
You have a plan.
That's what I was going to say. So if you
Then
are
you throw it out the window.
Yeah, you're planning something, and say you have your whole day mapped out. And I know that we had brought this up in the past. Say I'm Amanda and I want my fast passes, boom, boom, boom. And then my goals are, because once you use that last fast pass, you can log on to your app and you can get another fast pass. And in your head, you're always like, well, say, I don't know, say you're at Hollywood Studios and you're like, I'm getting this for Slinky Dog, and then I'm going to get one for like Tower of Terror, and then I'm going to watch, I don't know, Frozen Ever After. And like the second that my Fast Pass is up, I am totally going to log on there and I'm going to get one for Toy Story Mania. And when you log on there, there's like the dance party.
There's what?
There's like the dance party. Like that's
the dance party. Yeah. Yep.
I think that there's, and I mean, I am guilty of it too. I think like the excitement of like getting that next Fast Pass and having in your head, well, after I do these 3, these are the next things I'm going to do. And then when those options come up, even if you figure like, well, I'm just going to like I'll just go back and I'll just wait in line and ride Millennium Falcon if that's what I want to do. And then it's like, oh no, that's not going to work because I just got a Fast Pass for Rock and Roller Coaster, so this isn't going to work. You have to be flexible, even if you're an obsessive compulsive planner like myself. Mm-hmm. You have to be.
Yeah.
Or you will ruin it for yourself.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, especially with
you
kids.
Just described as something I would never do anyway.
The what?
Like that was what you just described. Like in my itineraries, my itineraries are a circle, either clockwise or counterclockwise.
Okay, so we're on the same page.
My itineraries do not zigzag.
Mm-hmm. I try and map that way too in the parks.
We may zigzag a little bit randomly, but if I'm planning it out, we're not zigzagging. Like we're not, because I don't have it in me to go from Toy Story Land to Tower of Terror, back to Frozen Ever After.
That's the fun.
People are crazy.
I love doing that.
I don't have the hustle in me. I don't have the hustle in me. I don't. I'll tell you, the best plan I ever had was when Disney had, and I don't know if they're going to bring this back after everything settles. They had what's called a signature service, where if you were staying in the cabins or the bungalow or concierge level at any of the resorts, you could buy 3 fast passes for $50 per person per day. That sounds like a lot of money, but when you think about the time value of your money on vacation, and not only could you get those 3 fast passes for $50 per person, but you can book them 90 days in advance. So you are getting every single thing you want. But not only are you booking those 3 fast passes, you're booking your regular 3 fast passes. And those fast passes had no tier restrictions.
None.
So all of the parks that had tier 1, you could only do either Slinky Dog or Toy Story Mania. You couldn't do both. You didn't have that. So like when we went to Epcot, we rode Frozen Ever After, Test Track, like the Mission Space. Like we did also like all of the Soarin'. And then I think Nemo, because that was all that was left. Like I think we had rode everything else.
Yeah.
But it was like we were able, and we used that service on New Year's Eve. We were out of Epcot by 3 p.m. Like and had gone on everything. And this was like New Year's Eve, 3 p.m. There were no fast passes left to get on the app. Like if you didn't already have fast passes, there was nothing left. There wasn't even a fast pass for Nemo. Nemo is normally like a 5-minute wait. Like, Nemo was 60 minutes. Like that is how bad it was.
That's how busy it was.
Yeah.
So and that plan, like we literally started at Test Track and worked our way around the park. And that was it. Like I can't do the whole, like when we eat around the world, we either start in the UK or we're starting in Mexico. We're not starting in the middle. We're going
Depends on how you come into the park, though. Depends on how you come into the park. If you're coming into your international gateway, then you have to make the decision, like work through half, go do the like front part of the park, and then work through the other half and head out. So you can
like go through France and then you go around and then hit Mexico at the end, and then UK and Canada are always like maybes. We may never, we hardly ever get to UK again.
Get some poutine. They have good poutine.
They do.
They do.
I love that Aileen and Dizgolds are zigzaggers too. I was feeling like I was the only one.
I showed up before and I was like, oh.
We're not really zigzaggers.
It's part of the adventure. You got to just
Do you zigzag?
excitement.
Like I guess by myself I could zigzag,
Yeah.
but with Zoel, like zigzagging just doesn't feel like it.
I think that's like it just depends on like what you want to do. Like I like to kind of have like a game plan for the day. Like the theme of today is we're gonna tackle the like food festival that's happening and work through World Showcase. Or, you know, the theme of today is like we're gonna ride the rides and that's like our focus. And then
Or meet
depending on what
characters.
that is, then you might kind of like zigzag a little bit. But I don't know. I like to have like a goal for the day. Or like this is like I'm not leaving the park until I've done these like 3 things. I don't know.
So you bring up a good point, Irene, because like when you start to plan your trip, is that how you approach it? I always say to clients, you need to tell me what like your must-dos are.
Yep.
And that's like we're gonna start from there. I need to know like, do you need to have more than one pool day, or like are you relaxers, or are you like Amanda, like you getting up like at rope drop and you're gonna go. That's the first question you have to ask yourself. Like, is this going to be a relaxing Disney trip where like we're just gonna do some of the parks, which I think Ashana Claire and I are like the same in terms of that, how she's saying like she just goes around. I didn't even answer my own question. This is going to sound horrible because I always tell clients, book your fast passes in the morning so that you can get as many possible. That being said, as a pass holder, and because I'm there so much, my first fast passes don't start until noon. And sometimes I'm mad that I didn't start them at 1 o'clock.
I'm not like, I think there's a lot to that, is that like, if you're going on a first time visit and you're there to do the parks, or this is like a once in a lifetime, or you only go every 5 years, something like that. Yeah. I think that definitely plays into how you book it. You know, I would definitely say if it's like a rare thing to go to Disney, then yeah, you're probably going to want to say this day is a park day. I'm prioritizing riding the rides. Get your fast passes early in the day, you know, but I think we're in a phase of visiting Disney now where we were annual pass holders for a long time. We have DVC, like we try and go as often as we can. We've kind of done it all. So I'm like, okay, having a more leisurely approach, and none of us are morning people. So like,
listen, that is me.
Do not want to push it. Like I've done it. I've been like there at rope drop. I've done the 24-hour day at Disneyland. Like, trust me, I've put in the miles and the time. But like now,
that will be me on the 50th. Like I'm going to be a drill sergeant on the 50th. You will think that like I've never been to Disney before in my life the morning of the 50th. Kelly that was on here earlier, she is staying in a room. There's like 4 of us that are going to stay at the Contemporary. And like I told all 3 of them, like my kids are staying at home. And like it's girls trip. We're celebrating the 50th. We're going to be part of it. Done. I was like, listen, like I can't even give my plan away on this like live, but I was like, you are not sleeping. Like that's how serious I am about this. But if you go to Disney with me, not on the 50th, I'm like, it's 10:30. Do I want to get up now?
I'll leave my kid at home.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
There's a bunch of us that are going there. I think there's 26 of us that are going.
Magic Kingdom's all sold out on that day, though.
But Epcot, you can get on Ratatouille first. Because it's opening the same day.
Oh,
I think that's why they did that, because I think they know, like, there's a lot of traffic, and they can still get people to come the week of the 50th, not being able to go in Magic Kingdom, or maybe be able to park hop. I don't know. I mean, who knows what that'll look like. But
yeah, I hadn't even planned on, I didn't even thought about going for the 50th until just this very moment.
We thought about it and we like made the active decision not to.
It's history.
Too busy for me.
It's history.
It's the 50th year, so
we'll be there for the 50th.
Discos will be there.
Awesome. A whole like year and a half of celebrating, so I will go at some point.
It's going on for at least 18 months. So even if you go there on October 2nd, you'll see everything except for like the commemorative thing. And I mean, if you don't care about that, you're still there for the 50th.
We did the 60th at Disneyland for their 24-hour day. And that was like, that'll never be topped. That was spectacular. So that's my like, That's my crazy Disney at 100% capacity in a non-COVID environment, like this close to people all day. Like, but it was amazing. It was fantastic. You'll have a blast doing it on the 50th.
Oh, it's gonna be so much fun, but everybody's gonna hate me, and I don't even care. Like, I've given pre-warning, like, for the last 499 days prior, and it's probably been a countdown on my phone for at least a year and a half. And I like told them like the night before, I was like, tomorrow morning, like, I'm waking up, I'm calling in at 7, like, I'm reserving the room, and they're like, oh my gosh, like, you're seriously doing it? And I was like, yes, like, I'm doing it. And then I said, like, if you agree to stay at least in my room with me, like, I am not joking about this. And I'm just going to ugly cry the whole time. Because my grandparents were there in 71. So it's going to come like full circle. You know what I mean?
Awesome.
So it comes full circle.
It's cool.
Speaking of that just made me think, like, as we're like past our first half hour here. I do think, and I don't know if a lot of people do this, when you're going to Disney and you're taking your family, you want to keep the kids happy and you want to do some things like specific, like rides, eat some specific places. Do you guys ever do, and I always tell people this, tell me what you want to do that's aside from your children. Because if you're not doing one thing that you want to do, and who cares if your kids are miserable doing it, you're looking at yourself going, I just spent thousands of dollars and I'm dog tired and I did every single thing that my kids wanted to do and I missed Disney.
So this is a good point because we just had to sit our kids down and talk to them because every time we go to Epcot, they're miserable. And it's because that's our time. We're like, nope, this is our time, me and daddy's time to go. We go around the world and we get a drink and we get a snack. And they are like miserable. They don't want to watch us eat and drink. We even get them like the giant cookies and the sweets. And they're always miserable because it's not riding rides the whole time. And we really like had to sit them down and be like, look, like it's not just all about you this whole trip. You have to let us have some fun too. And we're like, so my husband came up with this plan that he said, this trip coming up, if you're miserable at Epcot, that's the only park we're bringing you to from now on. We're not bringing you to Magic Kingdom anymore. Animal Kingdom, Epcot. Nope, it's all Epcot all the time.
Oh my gosh, I love it.
I'm like, I don't know if we're gonna be able to like hold that up, but a little fear in them might help.
Now, Jean and Claire, I feel that just like watching like your Instagram and like your vlogs, I feel that you are very good at this. Like where you're like, I went to the outlets, I did like a shopping day. Like where you're like, screw this, like I'm not going to the park. This is all about me going shopping. Because you need that for yourself. That's like your happy thing.
Well, and I also think, so I think definitely because of our proximity, I mean, we're still 6.5 hours away, but it's still close enough that it's not a long way away for us that we take for granted that we can be there. So when I go, my itinerary looks a lot different. Like I don't prioritize the rides anymore because I've done them all. Joelle doesn't like them, which suddenly changed this last trip where she started riding rides and it was amazing because she actually wanted to do rides. But in prior trips before this very last trip, she could care less about getting on a ride. So she just wanted to be in the park. She just wanted to see the princesses. She wanted to see Mickey. She wanted to be in the experience. And so we didn't need to be there all day because we weren't standing on lines and we weren't doing all those things. And so we had a shopping day. But, in terms of the park time, I'm like with Amanda, like eating and drinking around the world, like Epcot, that's my thing. And and I'm very clear when people are traveling with us. I'm like, look, I am not a cruise director. I am not your social director. But this is my plan. This is how I plan the trip for me and my kids. And, as tag-alongs, you guys are more than welcome to join us, but you're also welcome to do your own thing because I can't stand anything less than a grown-up asking me what's next. Like, what you want to do? Like, don't look to me for the answer because then I choose something and then you're not happy with it. No, I'm not your cruise director. You have to do what you want to do. And I tell people, and they're like, oh, well, you always do what you want to do. And I'm like, well, if you wanted to do something different, then you need to speak up. And if you don't speak up, you get dragged along. So it's, you know, you got to speak up and own your voice, or otherwise I'm going to Character Warehouse and stand online for 3 hours.
What? Yeah.
Okay.
You got to do it.
Oh,
That's okay.
yeah.
This was my first time doing it, because the last time we went, we walked around World Showcase, but we didn't actually stop at each country. So this time I was very adamant, like, we're not just walking the path around the perimeter of the World Showcase. Like, we are going into every single country.
Mm-hmm.
And we did that for the most part.
Oh, the scavenger hunt.
Yeah.
I haven't done that with them yet. Maybe I should do the scavenger hunt. They
Mhm.
have those for like festivals, right?
That was
Yeah.
actually like really fun. We did the
Yeah.
scavenger hunt, and we didn't find all of the little bees, but it got like we were in Epcot so long, and it got late really quickly. I was kind of upset. Like, there were like 4 bees that we didn't find. I was really upset about it.
So is
But that's
bees
also
the time?
Yeah, the bees
It's
are during
like-
Flower and Garden Festival.
Yeah, it's like called Spike the Bee, and you have to
Yeah.
find them. But there were a couple of, like I said, we didn't make it to UK and France, so I mean, and Canada. So I'm pretty sure there were a couple of bees over there.
I'll have to do that.
So
Maybe
what-
that'll get us one more drink.
Some direction around the park, because Epcot can be a hard park. I feel like
It
you're
can
either
be.
there for the food or you're there for the rides. Like, we don't typically mix the two. Like,
Yeah.
we're either going to be in World Showcase back here, or we're going to be up front where the rides are. Because trying to get, you know, if they had a bridge across that water, then maybe. But having to walk all the way around, like, I'm doing it.
Yeah.
Get your prize white when you get the hunt
Yeah.
paper, because you can really complete. That's
Yeah,
true.
you can get it when you pick up your
That's
hunt.
true.
You pay for it. You pay like $8 for it, and they give you're basically buying the right to get a cup later if you want to do it. Like, you don't even have to turn it in.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You just have to
That's
show them proof that you bought the thing.
So I
Mickey's
need-
Girls is also like you, Jean Claire. Yes, we must go to Character Warehouse every trip.
I still haven't been. I really want to go this trip.
You gotta go.
You need to.
Here's
Yeah.
what I
you guys
say
are-
about the Character Warehouse, though.
You're
Watch-
driving this trip, right? Amanda?
Yeah, so I can just go off on my own and take the car.
Yeah.
Because my husband
Watch
never wants to
Character
go.
Warehouse vlogs before you go.
What is it?
Watch the Character Warehouse vlogs before you go, so you can see what they have.
Oh,
so
that's a
that
good
you
And you
can
get a
see
strategy.
if it's worth your time.
Yeah.
Because this last trip, like, we got a few things from the Character Warehouse because I felt like I had to go, but I had watched the vlogs and I knew that there was really nothing new in the Character Warehouse that wasn't there in February
Mhm.
that we were going to get at the time we went, because I think we went at like 3:00.
Yeah.
And at that point, all of the stuff the new stuff that they would have put out in the mornings were all picked through. So either go very early in the morning, like right when they like before they open,
Mhm.
or don't waste your time going at all. Like, I don't know.
And there's two
I
of
felt
them
like-
down there too, so you
Yeah.
kind of got to know which one you want to go to. We always do the one on Vineland, but
Yeah.
I don't know.
I
But
heard
that's why I
one
say
was
watch
the other.
the vlogs to kind of see, like, the ones that are like 2 or 3 days prior to your trip, the ones that are closer to your trip. Watch those Character Warehouse vlogs so you can kind of get a sense of what's in there.
Mhm.
Betty Says and Carousel of Connor, like, they do really good. Dad Got Parks, they do really good at showing everything that's in there. And if you watch like 2 or 3 of them, you kind of see, because they don't all show the same thing. So
Right.
you kind of see everything by watching the 3 channels, and you can then decide if it, because it's a process to go to the Character Warehouse. Like, it's
Yeah.
a process. It's a time suck.
Mm-hmm.
It's
You also got to do the popsicle stand when you're there. That's like our favorite thing. We always get popsicles and do the Character Warehouse. Those
What is
popsicles
it,
are
right next door?
amazing. It's like really close. It's like a kiosk. It's close to where the Character Warehouse is.
Nice.
And Wally loves the candy store there too. It's really fun.
And you do have 15 minutes from the time you get your text, so you could also just kind of walk around and go look in like
Mhm.
Prada or Gucci or Tory Burch.
Name
Or-
drop.
Yeah.
Not sponsored.
Not sponsored, but
But we'll welcome
these
it.
are all stores that if I was there by myself that I would go into, but when I'm there with Zoel, like, this just not happening.
But
Like, we
you,
went in
you still take the time out to do it. So
Yes.
I mean, and I like I like what you're saying, Amanda. Like, threaten the children, be like, listen, if you don't enjoy it, like, we're never going anywhere else.
Yep.
What is your adult thing, Irene?
I don't know. So like our family motto is that we stick together and we're a team. And so it's like kind of our thing. So, I mean, we definitely like whatever we're doing, we're going to do it as a family, but there's just 3 of us. So it's easy. And I'm like always more than content to like sit rides out and hold bags and people watch and let like Mark and Wally go ride rides, or if Mark wants to ride a ride. But yeah, I don't know. Like, I think we really enjoy doing sit down dining. So that's like, I always try and have at least 1 reservation a day just because it's a nice little break and gets us away from, you know, the heat and the crowds. But I don't know. I feel like we just kind of have a good balance of it. And Wally's like, we just go places all the time and do things with him. So he's like always up for an adventure and doesn't really care what we're doing as long as we're together and we're doing something. He's usually pretty content. So we haven't really hit that like wall, but I'm sure like as he gets older too and has like more strong preferences, like, and I think this trip will be a little bit of like a shift in that too, because now that he's like old enough and tall enough to ride all the rides, like I think he's going to start to have like stronger feelings on what he likes and doesn't like. But I don't know. We haven't really hit like a division in that in our family yet. We just kind of always try and like balance out the day of like doing some rides, doing some downtime, eating good food, like taking our time, doing the things we all want to do along the way.
Chelsea just jumped on here. Hi, Chelsea.
Hey, Chelsea. Thanks for coming on.
And then Mickey's girls, they actually have, so, okay. I have an opinion on this. And my opinion has changed since vlogging like has become a thing. The answer is yes. I used to do them. Now, no. Because I don't want my butt, like literally my physical butt, like on YouTube.
Good point. Good point.
That's a good point. I didn't even think of that.
So I mean, I don't. And like, the girls want to do it. They do want to do it in July because like Calissa is like now into water slides because she's like, she'll be 5 by then. And she's like brave to do like the big ones and stuff. And she's like, oh, let's do it. And like my sister's going to come with us on that trip. And I'm just like, yeah, I mean, like we can go, but I am going to be like, where are the cameras? Like, where are the cameras? And that's why.
You're wearing like a sweatshirt over your bathing suit.
So then I was thinking, like, what if I got one of those, like, those bathing suits that's like the shirt and then like the shorts? And I'm like, okay, well then like that's fine. And I'll make sure that it's like black. So it's like slimming like head to toe. So there's like no print on it that like draws attention to like me, but that is why. So no, I probably haven't been back there. It's been at least 4 years.
Yeah, I haven't gone since I was 13.
But they're fabulous.
Yeah. They are fabulous. We've done them with Wally.
A long time.
We did. I mean, the last time we did them, it was like 2 or 3. But July's hard because you'll get rained out a lot. We did it with my niece when we went. The last time we were there over the 4th, which was not this last summer, but 2019, we did. But they will give you rain checks. So if it's not letting up and you decide to leave, you can go to the ticket window and then they'll give you a ticket to return on another day.
Oh, that's good.
Oh my God. It's hilarious.
That's awesome. There's 2 water parks, Chelsea.
Oh yeah, Chelsea has, how many are there? There's 2.
Typhoon Lagoon and Blizzard Beach.
Yeah.
We love them. I think
they're both very different.
They're both very different.
They're very different.
Do you have a favorite? I do.
I think
I like which one isn't it Typhoon Lagoon that has the big wave pool?
I think I like Typhoon Lagoon better, even though I like had a very traumatic injury at that park.
Oh no.
So it's like scarred me for life. So that'll be another thing I can like as a mom worry about with Wally. But I went on
see what happened.
We went on the one of those raft rides, like a single raft ride, and it was a vlogging injury. Like I had my GoPro and I had it like tied to my wrist, and I asked the lifeguard at the top, like, is it okay if I have my camera? It's attached to me. She's like, yep, not a problem. So, and I have the whole thing on film. So I'm like filming like, yeah, so much fun. And I turn it around and I go up over a curb and like flipped up over my tube. So I went down the rest of the like concrete, like graded concrete slide, like pretty much the whole thing on my back, like ripped up my whole back. And like I passed Mark at one point because he went out in front of me and he's like trying to get me on his tube. And I'm like, can't get on his tube. And I keep going. And I like went underneath of this like preteen boy. And then and I'm still trying to hold on to the raft the whole time because I'm like, I don't want to lose that. Yeah. So I'm like, my tube gets stuck behind his tube. And so then I'm like riding down with him and he's like, yeah, and I'm filming him.
We can laugh now, right? Because this isn't very funny.
Oh my gosh. So I get off and like the lifeguard's like, are you okay? Oh my gosh, are you okay? I'm like, yeah, I'm fine. Like just trying to like save face, you know? Like I'm like more worried about my pride at this point. So I'm just like dripping blood down my back, like hobble over to like a chair and I'm like, I just need to sit for a minute. So we went to first aid and the nurse was like, here's some like spray and a Band-Aid. Please don't sue us. I hope you're okay. So it was very traumatic.
That sounds insane.
But I have the whole thing on film. It's very.
Didn't you show this on one of your vlogs? I feel like
I don't think we've shown it on one of our vlogs, but I think in one of the Instagram chat groups it came up one time, and I think I shared it in there.
Are you sure you didn't share it on a live?
I feel like people cut it, make it a short.
I might have shared the like story, but I don't know if I've ever like put the clip out.
I feel like I've seen pictures of the injury.
It was not fun, and like all we had was like aloe vera lotion. So Mark was like putting that on my back, and it was entertaining. And then I found out I was pregnant when we got home from that trip. So
awesome. Maybe that's why Wally's so active because you were like tumbling.
Yeah,
that's why he likes rides now.
It was exciting.
That's funny.
So I've been a little like scarred by the water parks, but I still like them and I would still go back. But just be wary of that. Like, don't suggest vlogging.
That's in any water park.
I mean, yeah, I did that. The big water slide at Blizzard Beach.
Summit Plummet.
Yeah, I won't do that.
I will never do that again. Like it was fine. Like I was perfectly fine. I clearly am still here, so I survived. But that was the most terrifying thing ever. Like the guy had to like push me because I wouldn't let go. I was like, I don't think I can do this. And he was kind of like, girl, it's too late. I was like, because you go down and I swear like it feels like you come up off the slide and then go back. And that part was just like, like, and then your eyes are closed the whole time because I'm just like, I can't. Maybe if I don't see it, then it won't be so bad.
I can't even do the pirate ship at Beach Club. Like that's too much. Like the enclosure.
That was terrifying. Like I actually don't mind the enclosed rides because that's my fear. Like I'm always like scared. Like I'm gonna go up like the slide, like over because I'm like I don't care what they say. I'm a thicker girl. So I'm like the gravity and the velocity of my face like coming down the tube and hitting that water just right. And I'm like, sometimes they don't look like those walls are very high. So
that's my biggest fear.
I've gotten to a place where I only do fully enclosed tubes because I'm like, I can't fall out of that.
I'm all in full enclosure too, and I love them. I never think of it, Irene, like that I'm stuck in there. But I am with the Jean Claire 110%. Like every time I'm like, oh my gosh, like I'm a big girl, so like my weight can like swing up, and I'm gonna be like on the cement.
Exactly. Like that's my like I've never actually seen that happen, but. I mean, maybe if I was like 50 pounds lighter, I don't know, maybe I'd feel differently. But like, especially at my current weight, I'm just like gravity, the force, that water pushing you. That just feels like, even though like I'm within the weight limits of most of the rides, because I will do a ride unless I'm at least 20 pounds under, like there's a 20-pound difference between me and the weight limit. Like I won't like some people are like, oh, I'm getting on like regardless, like, and they barely make the weight limit and they still do. I'm like, whew. You're brave. You're brave.
That's funny.
Yeah, I don't know. Water parks like definitely scare me. I feel like the rides are like, I feel like they're riskier. Like you legit can get hurt on them.
You can.
Like, a roller coaster, something pretty traumatic and bad would have to happen. Like
there's no seatbelts on water slides.
No.
No
No.
seatbelts.
No.
it kind of like
They are really
actually
fun. And
surprises me that they
the
have
theming there is awesome. And like
It is.
coming full circle with itineraries, if you are going to do the water parks, like have some set days open that you plan that
Yes.
you want to do them. But I'm going to stress the word days
Yeah.
because it does rain in Florida.
Yep.
I've never been to Epcot where it doesn't rain. So like I've never been to Epcot.
Don't
where
go to Epcot with Heather. It will rain.
Yeah, it will rain. But like it does rain in Florida. So say you planned on doing it Tuesday, like leave like maybe your Thursday and your Saturday open too, that you could plan to do like Epcot, like if you wanted to. This is prior to the park pass reservation things.
Right.
Because maybe it's gonna be like full blown rain and you can do Epcot, you can do all the parks in the rain, but you are not doing a water park in the rain.
Yeah, I mean, especially if it's lightning. I mean, if it's lightning, they will shut everything down for sure. If it's raining and there's no thunder or lightning, they'll keep things open. But once and it's pretty rare that it's going to rain down there without thunder and lightning. So.
Epcot is Yael's favorite park. It is my least favorite park, and she's like the Epcot queen. She's one of the agents at Upon a Star too, and she's like my BFF in like real life. And she always laughs because I've never been there when it didn't rain. It's funny.
I feel like it only rains when we're there too at Epcot.
Yeah.
At
And
least
then
for
our friend Kyla, she was just there with like, she just did an adult trip with her husband, and she was like, it literally torrential downpoured for 5 hours, like in Epcot. And I'm like, that's
my
like
God.
normal.
At least there's lots of places to go in, like the pavilions. You can go in the land pavilion, you can go in the sea pavilion and like spend time in there.
That's the only like fast pass I will get first thing in the day is test track Epcot, because if you do not do it,
correct,
it will shut down. It'll either break down or it'll be shut down because of rain. So that's the one I would say, like, absolutely get this first thing in the day, or you're probably not going to ride it.
Us too. Same.
Oh my gosh, the David Dollar is gracing us with
the David Dollar.
Magic on a dollar, everybody. Look, he is here.
Hi. Well,
I have a whole like packet from David right here. He sent us a bunch of park maps. We've been using them to plan our upcoming trip.
Oh, but yeah. So I don't know. I think that we could like talk more about this. I don't want to say like itinerary planning. I don't think it is, because I think the first thing whenever you start to do a trip, you have to ask yourself, like, what do I want to do in this trip? Make a list of things that are your must-dos.
Non-negotiable.
Like, give yourself, and then rank them. Like if your Rise of the Resistance is going to ruin your trip if you don't get on it, then you need to give yourself more than one Hollywood Studios day, because there is a great chance that you are not getting into that queue. So I mean maybe it's like Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway, and you're just like, okay, well, I'm going to plan to wait a longer time to ride that. You have to give yourself like a list of things that are your must-dos, and even like things that your kids want to do, but you have to give yourself grace and say, like, I worked hard for this money to provide this trip. And while it is magical at any age, it's also your trip too. You have to take time to do stuff for yourself.
Well, that's where I think, like, especially like dining too for parents, adults, I think it's like so important to pick out a couple meals that you're really excited about, like not just the character meals, but like find a good restaurant, because your kid's probably going to be like mostly happy because they're going to be tired. They're going to enjoy like having an opportunity to sit down, cool down, and find a place that they're all going to have kids menus. I mean, that's the great thing about Disney. Like, find a place that you want to eat, because guaranteed your kid will be able to eat something on the menu and they'll be happy. So you don't ever have to worry about like, well, yeah, but if I eat at this like exotic place in Epcot, what's my kid going to eat? Like, they will have kid food on the menu. So prioritize a meal for yourself, and give yourself like 2 hours to sit down in the air conditioning, eat food that you're going to enjoy, and just chill. And I think that's our biggest thing that we do, is like just trying to plan at least like one point during the day where we get to chill.
David Dollar loves you too, Amanda and Ajana Claire.
Love you too, David Dollar.
And I would also say, like, if you're like, I feel like we all do Disney a lot, so we're kind of like we plan things, but we're also very kind of lax about it. Like, if I don't do that, so I definitely want to say for people, if this is your kind of once in a lifetime trip or once in every 5 years trip, or just a goal trip for you, you definitely need a plan. Like you need a plan, and you need to go. Like you have to, you don't have the benefit. Like if you're going to Disney for a week and this is the only time you will ever go in your entire life, you don't sleep.
Right. You're not.
Like this is you are hyped up on, rum and Red Bull, like whatever you need to do to get you through the day, coffee, whatever it is. Like you need to, in that situation, you do want to have more of a mission and more of a chance where you're going. You still want to, build in that pool time. You want to build in that resort time if you're staying on property. You want to build in some rest time, but you don't have you got to hustle. You don't have the luxury to strut.
You are zigzagging.
You are not staying alive. Right. Like you are not strutting down the street. You are running like Captain America, trying to save Segovia. Like you are on it.
Well, and I think that's like when we talk about zigzagging too, like, I mean, the trip we have coming up this summer, we're being very strategic. We're resort hopping 4 times, which is insane. And I wouldn't suggest that, but we are prioritizing the parks that's closest to our resort on those days. And I would say like anybody going, it's good to like know where your resort is and give yourself at least like one day where you're going to have a little bit more leeway, a little bit more downtime, maybe start a little bit later, take a break in the middle of the day, and plan to do the park that's closest to your resort. So you're not like, don't plan if you're staying at Animal Kingdom Lodge to go back in the afternoon and relax if you're not going to Animal Kingdom Park. Because you're just going to spend a lot of time on transportation driving clear out to Animal Kingdom Lodge to get back to your resort on a day that you could have, dedicated that more. You can go back to your room if you're on an Animal Kingdom day at Animal Kingdom Resort and it's not that much time out of your day, but not on a Magic Kingdom day. No. I mean, you can, but you're going to sacrifice a lot more. So, and I think that's where planning can really help too, is like being realistic about time. I mean, I always over budget for a dining reservation for any sort of transportation, park to park or resort to park. Just like, don't anticipate that you can get from point A to point B in 5 minutes because you really can't. Correct. Don't make a dining reservation in like Japan and think you're going to get to the park 5 minutes before in the main gate and you're going to be able to make it to Japan because you're going to be huffing and puffing and you're going to be miserable.
Correct. And talk to someone that like has been there. Like, I mean, go to like your friends that that like have been there, or like if someone that's a DVC member or an annual pass holder or whatever.
Right. And say like, shameless plug
again, or if you need to plan. This is sponsored by Upon Star Travel and Concierge. Just contact them for your Disney travel needs. There's the shameless plug at the end.
I would also say if you're planning an itinerary for like a dream trip, I would not have anything scheduled. I would not have more than one thing scheduled in any hour time block.
Yeah.
And if you're eating something, if it's a quick service, you need an hour.
An hour.
If it's a sit down dining reservation, you need 2 hours.
Yep.
At the bare minimum. And if it's a crowded park day, add another half an hour to an hour onto that just for that. Like the time suck in some of the things of just waiting. It's just it's absolutely insane. Like I actually love the new you must order your food on the app first system because when you go into the restaurants now, you don't have that where back in the day, like people would just kind of hold tables. You don't have that now. Right. It's like if you haven't ordered food and your food is not ready and prepared, don't come. Like that is something I hope that they do not change after all of this is over, because it seems to be a very efficient process and it works.
Well, and then you have a table too. I mean, that's the
And then
worst
you
thing
have a
about quick
table.
service
Yeah.
is like you're hot, you're tired, you finally got your family wrangled, you get in line to get your food, you wait forever to get your food, and then you walk around for another 45 minutes trying to find a table or stalking people and staring them down like, I know you've been here too long. You need to get up for that table right now. I will guilt stare you for the next 20 minutes till you get up.
Good stare.
You just go sit.
Or another thing you could always do to save time and money is bring your own lunch, pack sandwiches, because you can bring a cooler in as long as it's like it meets the standards.
Mhm.
And you can't bring ice, but you can bring like an ice pack. You just can't have ice, like loose ice. But there's always places to sit outside. You can find tables outside to sit and have sandwiches and chips and soda drinks, your own drinks.
The ice thing drives me crazy because
that's new too.
That's been like Mark's kick. Every single room tour we do, you will notice he always points out whether or not there is a freezer. It doesn't matter if we're staying at Disney or not. Like he will open up every single mini fridge, like the first thing when we get to the room. And he'll be like, nope, no freezer. Because if you can't bring ice into the parks and you want to do that, you can't keep an ice pack cold if there's no freezer in the room. And I did not understand when Disney made that change that they didn't ensure there was freezers in all the rooms, and like very, very few, especially DVC rooms for studios, have freezers in them.
You know why they made that rule, right? People were dumping their ice from eating, and then people were falling on it.
Yeah,
so it was a liability.
I get it, like it's fine, but I think like if you're going to say you can't have ice, like loose ice, then they should try and at least like have freezers in rooms. And a lot of the remodeled rooms that they like just put new fridges in, then there's no freezer, and I'm like, what?
Mm-hmm.
So it's like Mark's security he's gonna like die on is whether or not there's a freezer in the room.
I was thinking with security, it was probably taking longer to check the ice. Like in this, they want security to go faster, and it was probably taking a while to go through all the ice just to make sure there's nothing in there.
So you can have it if you have like my trusty. I should have grabbed it out of my suitcase for this.
Yeah, if it's in like a container, like if you have a water bottle, then you can put like ice water in it, which will keep it super cold. But you can't just have like a plastic bag with ice in it.
So just fill up like 4 Yetis and just have them in the park, and then have them filled with ice.
Yep.
So, yeah.
There's my like tangent on ice.
Well, I think that's a good place to end it, because we can talk about ice and other Disney rules and whatever. So we think that 2 weeks, what date is that? And it's Irene that's hosting it again, correct?
Yeah, it'll be back on our channel.
Full circle.
Yay!
Yay!
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah. Are we going to have another giveaway too?
I know we need to decide our timing on that. We talked about like once a quarter. So I don't know if that like
coming up in, is it the end of the second quarter? So in June.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Yeah. So maybe we'll get on that, and then we'll show you guys what you can win for your next one. We'll plan it all out, I guess. But this is why we do Mama Mouse Club. We just kind of like fly by the seat of our pants.
we already have our next princess picked, and they guessed it on the last one. So
yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yes. So that's exciting. Well, thanks, ladies, for jumping on here tonight. And if anybody has any questions, you can leave them in the chat. And Irene will tell me how to post this, because this is like super anxiety for me, because I don't do this.
You did a great job.
It was a fabulous time. And thank you, everybody, for joining us. And we will see you next time.
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you, guys.
Thanks.
See ya.
Have a good one.